Hey everybody, I'm Andrew.
Doug.
I'm Anna.
And we did our presentation today on Double Fine Productions. They're a video game company located in San Francisco, and we're going to start off with our cool little video from Double Fine. Okay, so as you can see in that video, Double Fine initiated a Kickstarter project, and we're going to talk a little bit about what Kickstarter is. But each one of us did our own research in regards to different modules that were discussed in class, and the new module that we have discussed in class is Kickstarter. What Kickstarter is basically it's an online website that allows people to come on and create a project, whether it's from musicians, filmmakers, video game artists, movie makers, anyone in general can just come on there and ask for donations for a project, and then give rewards for how much you donate. And as you saw from the video, Tim Schafer wanted $400,000 to make the new Double Fine adventure game. And they ended up raising $3.4 million in the total of course, the whole month, including $1 million just on the first day, with a total of 87,000 backers. It was really awesome. They had a huge response from the company and everyone involved. It was just tremendous. So we were fortunate enough to interview Greg Rice, and we're going to show some clips from that later. But the other module that I discussed was podcasting, besides the Kickstarter project. Double Fine originally had a podcast that they called the Action Cast, that was number one rated gaming podcast on iTunes for quite a while, and they haven't updated it in a while, but according to our interview, Greg Rice said they're going to start updating it more and more as the adventure project moves along. So those are the two modules that I chose.
All right, so the other module that I did, it's one that we all know about and we discussed in class, which is Facebook. So right now they have 9,198 likes. They started their Facebook back in 2008. So, I mean, they're getting there. It's still new. So far, as of today, they had 88 people talking about them. You know, like we all know the advantages and disadvantages of Facebook. You know, it's one of the best ways to promote yourself, and it's free, and you can update news and have your community there. Another disadvantage would be that if people don't go and look for you, it's pretty hard for you to reach other people and to come into your page. You need a special team to take care of the updates and all that. And you know, like with any other social media module, if they post something that could possibly hurt your company, it's going to be there forever. Another thing that I researched for this company was how they tracked, you know, how well they were doing. And from the interview, they told us that they really don't track anything. They don't use Google Analytics. They just go by likes and how many people follow them on Twitter. They should invest in that. Right now they don't want to spend the money because they're focusing on the game, but eventually they would like to start tracking, you know, how they're doing.
All right. I did YouTube and blogs. For their blogs, I found, I mean, they were updated, basic information, all that. And then on their YouTube page, I found that there were over 100,000, over 100,000, use, and also you could find each individual video. They had their latest 10 up. The one that you actually just saw, they had that up there as well. And you're able to basically find whatever you want on their YouTube page.
Was that primarily how they promoted it through YouTube, like spread word?
Yeah, a lot of this mainly was driven from their two-player productions, the documentary crew that had gained a lot of big following before from their Minecraft documentary, which is another big game. And then Double Fine contacted them to try to help them create, like, you know, really good videos and stuff. And not that they weren't doing a good job before; they had lots of other very funny viral videos. But these ones in particular were really helping to start funding the project, and just word spread dramatically through like online resources. A lot of video game websites did reviews of it. It was pretty big.
And you could also find how many views were on each YouTube video and how many subscribers and all that stuff. So.
Another module that they used was Wiki. As you all know, when you Google something, you don't know what it is. Like I personally did it myself when I learned we were doing Double Fine Productions. The first thing I did was go to Google and type in Double Fine, and Wiki is one of the first sites to come up. Double Fine really used it to their advantage. They use it to promote, market, and educate people on their company and what exactly they want to do. The wiki page that they have includes a brief introduction on the company and who they each are. It also has details on upcoming and past projects that they've done before, a complete list of all the games with their release dates, so you can kind of get a little bit of a feel for what kind of games they produce and what they're all about. Some awards that they've won were included, also references and external links. They directed you of where you can go to donate and how to donate, of course. An advantage of Wiki is just the number of people you can reach. Like I said, it's one of the first websites that come up when you type it in. It's easy to collaborate, it's user-friendly. There's potential for false or biased information since anyone can go on and change or delete things. The second module that I used was Twitter. I know we all know what Twitter is in the room. Double Fine used it to update fans on news and fundraising that they have. They also advertise for upcoming promotions. They used Tim Schafer's Twitter account as their main page, but after Andrew's interview with them, they actually made a different Twitter account, a new page, and it's just for the company themselves. And in addition to that, they did keep Tim and Greg Rice has one as well. So it's almost like doubling their traffic and revenue that they'll get through Twitter. All right, now I'm going to go back to Andrew to go over some interview clips.
Yep. So as we established earlier, we were able to get an interview with Greg Rice. He's the head of PR and the producer of the new Double Fine Adventure project, which was totally great. I had to contact them in a whole bunch of different ways. I figured they'd be swamped with email and Twitter feeds. So the best way that I found to contact them was via fax machine. I figured I'd take an alternative old school route and fax it to them, and it got to them, which was great. I think it went to the Double Fine official store, that located in their lobby, and then she passed it up to the head. So it was really great. We got the interview. Again, Greg Rice, he's really nice, really fortunate, to have this opportunity, and he provides some really great insight on how they use social media in their workplace.
Check 1, 2. All right. Mr. Rice, can you still hear me?
I can.
All right. So, about how much time did you spend preparing all your social mediums for Double Fine?
For Double Fine Adventure in specific, or just for the company?
That was my next question, but specifically just for the company as a whole.
Tim has his own Twitter account that he has had for a long time, and that's kind of the biggest thing we've got. He's got around 70,000 followers. But I'm just now starting up an actual Double Fine specific one. We've got Facebook pages for all of the individual games. We also have a centralized Double Fine Facebook page, but we were worried about mixing our audiences, just because some of our games are, we have a Sesame Street game, and then we have a mature heavy metal game that's violent. So we were worried about those communities mixing. But I would imagine actually that most of our PR goes through our Twitter feeds, and then we have a big press release list of thousands of members of the press that we email stuff out to too.
In relation to the Double Fine Adventure, was there any additional time spent promoting this specific event?
Oh yeah, we started working on the project probably last November, and it didn't launch until obviously about a month ago. So yeah, there's a lot of time spent just getting all the pieces in place and making sure that we've taken care of all issues that might potentially come up from launching this. And then yeah, we just had our hand on Twitter and emails and everything ready to go. So as soon as we launched it, we just kind of started spamming everybody with as much news as we could.
Yeah, and now that the big event has passed, about how much time on PR a week do you spend maintaining these?
It's still probably about half of my time. Things are kind of slow on the game right now for me specifically because production hasn't started on the game, so it's more just getting all the pieces in place and just kind of waiting on Tim to start design on the game and stuff like that. So yeah, a lot of my time is going towards keeping conversations going in the forums and just staying on top of Twitter and everything like that. But also we get dozens of questions through Kickstarter Kickstarter itself too every day that have to be answered. So there's a lot of both like PR marketing kind of stuff and like support kind of stuff too, which kind of gets wrapped up into the same thing.
Yeah. Is there any type of specific experience that you really want to convey when talking to the community through social media? And I guess this is kind of in relation with what you said about how you have, different types of games on multiple different platforms. I mean, is there a specific crowd you're trying to cater to? Or, what kind of groups in particular?
Yeah. It's a little different now because when we were started, it was open, everything was open, so we're trying to just, get as many people involved as possible. But now that the Kickstarter has ended, things are kind of shut down, and we've got like more private setting. So it's more just trying to like nurture the community that we've already built there. Because people aren't able to get in anymore, so it's just trying to build kind of rapport with the fans that we've got in the backer forums now.
Okay. We were all your YouTube videos are fantastic, and we noticed that many of your videos and the viral videos that have been posted on your site are reposted by other users. Do you find that annoying and disruptive, or is it helpful towards your company?
No, we like it.
You like it?
Because we don't worry about, how many views the video gets and whether it gets up. So ultimately, if more people are posting it, potentially more people are seeing it. I'm being filmed right now. It's kind of awkward.
Right now?
Yeah, the documentary crew for the Double Fine Adventure has...
Right, that's Two Player Productions, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty awesome. I love the Minecraft.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But no, what was it? We're talking about the reposting, right?
Oh yeah, people repost your videos.
Yeah, those videos are all stuff that I've just done on my own with limited knowledge of how to edit videos. So that's kind of why they've always been low production. But we've actually kind of embraced that and feel like people enjoy that kind of grassroots look at the studio.
Since your great success with Kickstarter, it seems that the entire site has just blown up with projects starting all over the place. Are you guys going to consider using Kickstarter again?
Yeah, I think so. We are all considering it. Like, we're definitely going to take our time and probably wait till this one's done before we do another.
Right.
We were curious to see what would happen, whether other people would try it or whether it was just kind of a one-time thing. But now that we're seeing other people have success, it seems like maybe there's something actually there, and it might be a legitimate way to go in the future.
Are there any areas in which you think Double Fine might need to improve in social media?
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty much the only person on PR at Double Fine, and it's like a small portion of my job. So, we're definitely hoping to hire people that this is like specifically their job, especially since we're moving more into self-producing games and self-publishing games. These are the kind of things we always relied on our publishers to handle, people like Microsoft and THQ, and it's ultimately the kind of things that they never really handled very well, just because they always had a really corporate spin on it, and that's not really our company at all. So now that we're able to kind of control those messages a bit more, we've already seen more success, and we're just hoping to kind of build that portion of our studio up more as it's needed.
Okay, and as a cool little bit of nerd cred, I was the first person to be mentioned in a tweet from the official Double Fine Twitter account. That was really cool for me, so very nice on that. Is there any questions that you guys had or anything you'd love to answer? Yes?
Your line of questioning, was it collaborative among the group, or you had that free?
Yeah, we all had a couple sit-downs, and I got a whole list together. The whole interview was about 35 minutes long, but there were a bunch of different questions, and I just kind of tried to compile it down to the ones that were most beneficial for the whole class. I got a bunch of really nerdy ones in there, too.
No, very good line of questioning, very
Thank
extensive.
I tried really hard. So.
Very good.
Any other questions?
Questions, comments? No?
All right, thanks.